your
Oh,
thing
my
show up.
button.
Got
Here
it.
we go. There's mine. Got it.
Okay.
Here we go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tea Across the Miles with Lady Amy of Houses of Windsor and a Lady Nancy of Cup and Crown.
Hello.
And today it's still Tea Across the Miles, but I'm in a different location. So I'm calling in from Indiana, which the temperature when I woke up said it was 36 outside, but felt like 24 thanks to the
It
wind.
was very, very similar to here this morning. I will tell you,
Yeah,
it was not much different.
yeah. So it's definitely been chilly, but the last time we were here, sorry, it's like early morning. So the last time we were here was Christmas, not this past Christmas, Christmas before, and it was unseasonably cold. So it basically was always like 0 degrees with like negative wind chills.
Right. Right.
So now I'm like, oh, this is what like okay cold feels like. Like when you bundle up, you're still warm. Like if you bundle up, you're fine. When it's 0 degrees out, you can bundle up and it doesn't matter.
You have a
So
Florida body now, and
I do.
you're not
And I pretty much
acclimated to it
always had one, even before I lived in Florida. My body was made for.
again.
So I was always like, yeah, lived in Chicago. That makes sense.
Right, right. Oh
Wore
my
like long
goodness.
underwear for like half the year under my clothes.
So attractive. Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
But so and yeah, so you're calling from Virginia, and we won't say when, but we do have England coming up.
We
So
do.
yeah, so I don't know if you want to start with the tea time saga there, or if you want to stay.
Well, what I first want to say is, okay, if anybody's for the two people that watch us,
Right.
besides you and I in a replay, I have spots on my neck. And I do not have love bites. These are not hickeys. And it was a vanity play. I was at the dermatologist last week and I'm like, I've got these moles. She said, "Did they bother you?" And I'm like, they hurt my vanity. And
Oh,
so does this. What can you do? And she said, "Well, we
yeah,
can burn them off because I did have some precancerous cells removed a couple
yeah,
years ago." She said, we can remove them." So I said, "Yeah, go ahead." And I forgot the mark that they leave. I mean, this is like, and it was worse before. So I walked into school
right.
and I've been telling everybody, I had a private tea yesterday for 12 at the museum.
Oh
And I'm
no.
like walking around like this at the beginning, like Anne Boleyn in her final hours, coveting her neck. And I used that line. I'm like, I figure I can tell who the historians and the
Oh
Anglophiles
right.
are that comment. But I've been like trying to hide that. And
Oh
so
my goodness.
I am leaving for London soon. And I'm grateful that they have cool weather because I have a chance to wear turtlenecks.
That's awesome. So is it a thing where it fades with time?
It does. It's supposed
Yeah,
to, like, please,
yeah, yeah.
or I will be permanently in a turtleneck. And Scar says, speaking of weather, so yeah, so I keep looking up. My husband's like, so what's weather gonna be like? And I look up and I'm like, cloudy with a chance of morning showers. Next day, cloudy with a chance of morning showers. The next day, cloudy with a chance of morning showers. Cloudy with a chance of morning showers.
Which is just about right for you guys, right?
And he goes, "Are you kidding?" I'm like, honey, it's England. It's
Yeah,
England.
right. Yeah,
So
what do you expect? Yeah,
I know. So, but speaking of that, I have to interject real quick too.
yeah.
So today is Jackie's last day of before spring break, my
Oh
daughter,
right.
and they had a theme day at school. They're like, dress for your ideal or your favorite vacation. So
Yeah.
I gave Jackie my Union Jack earrings. She
Mhm.
wore a little dress with some leggings, since it's cold here too. She
Yeah.
had her little umbrella on her arm and the
Oh my
fascinator
gosh.
I bought her that should we go to afternoon tea in London,
Right.
she's got this cute little pink and teal fascinator that she
Oh
wore
my
to
gosh.
school today.
That's amazing.
I know.
That's
I should have got a
awesome.
picture. She's adorable. She's
I
adorable.
love it. Yes. Yeah, you'll just send me a picture later.
Yes.
That's so cool.
But you were
Yes.
saying the tea drama. So we're going, and
Yeah.
it doesn't look like this tea lady is going to afternoon tea. I have a jam-packed schedule of so many things to see. This is my second time in London, my family's first time in London. There's so much I want to share with them. We are staying with friends, and we were hoping to be able to get into an afternoon tea on Easter Day. And
Right.
it doesn't look like that's happening. I looked up Claridge's,
Oh.
And I was like,
All
oh,
right.
Claridge's is known for their tea as well. It's
Right.
$115 a person.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like, yeah, the ones that are like really known.
Cheers. I go for, like 27 cents a glass. Here we go.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, it's a bit too much. I'm trying
Mhm.
to click over to my page just so that if anybody's commenting. So I know it won't be Mumsy because Mumsy is
It's
at my
there.
brother's house right now with Piper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Mm. So, what
But
are you
yeah.
drinking today, by the way? Have you even had a
So
chance to? Because you're
I
an
know.
hour behind.
No, I'm not. So we're the same. It's 10, 10, 10.
Oh, okay,
So
okay. Gotcha.
everybody keeps thinking that. So it's probably because for a long time, Indiana refused to take part in the daylight savings time changes.
Yay, Indiana. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they gave in and was like, oh, right. I mean, whatever. Everybody else is doing it. Can we like stop confusing people on what time it is throughout the year?
Seriously. Seriously.
So yeah, so it is the same. It is the same time now. But speaking of, we're sort of speaking of, um, so the boy in my life is still
The
in my
man in
life.
your life, the boy in your life.
Yeah, same one. And so he actually is cat sitting and house sitting for us while we are here. Unfortunately, the cats, we think they know that he's really a dog person because the cats are like just,
Oh my goodness.
but
Cats can sense
yeah,
these things. Yes.
yeah, right. But the tea that I'm drinking, so my mom is like, I send her, tea for gifts and whatnot, and it's always my tea. So she still has some vanilla chai, which I haven't had in like forever. Some of my vanilla chai, and so I was like, ooh, yum. So I'm drinking vanilla chai.
That sounds very good right now, actually. That sounds
What do
delightful.
you have?
I'm drinking what I think I was drinking the last time we met, and it's again the one that you introduced us, Scottish toffee puer.
So
Mhm.
yes, so I had that yesterday or day before. So when I've been here, my mom, it was funny. She's like, you sent me one that I'm just not super fond of. It's that Scottish toffee one, and I said, well, Fancy loves that one, and so she had one tea bag left, so I drank it. I was like, I haven't had it in a while.
Oh
Like, I,
gosh. I do love it. It's very robust. And so yesterday, and I try to do a robust tea when I do my tea events and serve two teas. I try to do one that's really a good robust
yeah, yeah.
black tea, and then something that's a little bit lighter.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday we did white blueberry, and that went over
Ooh,
well. But the robust one I was creme de la Earl Grey, and every time it's like, who would like
yeah.
a refill? I want the Earl Grey one.
Yep.
I'm like, I got a big, huge pot of blueberry. He wants the blueberry. And it's
Yeah, yeah.
delicious. That white blueberry, there are so there are fewer notes of the white tea, and it's a nice, it's not overpowering, but a nice pleasant punch of that blueberry. But
Blueberry.
everybody
Yeah.
wants the Earl Grey
Once
cream.
the okay cream. Yep.
Everybody wants it.
It's so good. Yeah.
It's good. So should
Yeah.
we talk tea business before we talk royals? Because there's a lot to
Yeah.
talk about royals. Or do you want
Yeah.
to do
There's a
royals
lot
first?
to
Because
talk
we can
about.
do royals
Yeah,
first.
yeah. So we can do tea business first. So tea business, I have my tea next Saturday. Today's Friday, right? So a week from tomorrow,
I will
I
be with
have
you in
tea.
spirit. I can't wait to hear about it.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm excited for that. Tickets have been selling really well, but there are still some left. So yeah, I'm hoping to sell out. So go get your ticket
Yeah,
before they're gone.
definitely.
Um, and I'm very excited for that. And that is going to be very like Floridian themed. So it's like at a pretty Floridian residence. But I'm already planning like the next few. So the next one is Acres of Grace Family Farms, and that is going to be May 4th. And that one is a mommy and me country tea, is what we're calling it.
That's fun.
Um, but I also put like right below it, it's like dad's grandparents, like everyone's welcome. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be mom.
Exactly, exactly.
And so we're planning that, and that's fun because so Becky is the owner of the Acres of Grace Farm, and we've been texting back and forth. And she said that she has someone that she knows that does like balloon animals, like a teenager that likes doing them. And so I was like, great, like and they'll basically work for like tips. So
Right, right.
yeah,
Fantastic.
animals. We're trying to find a face painter. they have like a little playground there, so it's like for the kids and stuff. And then of course it'll be all set up. Like they have really long, pretty like wood tables in a cupboard like outside. And
Right.
so we'll decorate that and have um all we'll have tea but also lemonade for like the kids who don't want to
Yes.
mess with lemon. Yeah, or
Yes.
don't want to mess with tea. That's fine. And then we'll have like
That's a hard
some
piece to figure out, isn't it? When you're doing a kid's tea,
yeah,
I've struggled with that with people who wanted to do it on like, yeah, but the kids don't really drink tea. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do?
yeah.
I always struggle with that.
So that's what. So I'm like lemonade because I'm very much about like put anything in your teacup. I don't care. Like
Hmm.
I put wine in my teacups. Do whatever you want.
Don't do that with the kids.
Yeah, don't do it. Yeah, you have to be of age. But yeah. So I figure you can lemonade or raspberry lemonade or whatever something there. And
I'm sorry. I know I keep cutting it and I apologize. It's so rude. But what about like raspberry tea or peach tea? Because when you get, and they're already made, they're not the high
yeah.
quality stuff that you and I would push
Oh,
for.
right, right.
But they're so, isn't it like, I hate to say this, but honest tea, isn't that what it is? Something like that. But some of those are
Yeah,
so strongly juiced flavored almost, and
that's
they're
true.
very sweet. I wonder if those wouldn't go over well, or like the Arnold Palmer that has a lot of the lemonade in it
Right,
too.
right.
That way it's
That's
still
true.
kind of a tea. So just something to think for both of us to think
That's true.
about
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah. So maybe yeah, that'll be a good idea too to try to get him into tea
yeah,
slowly. But so that one's in the I don't know, pretty good into the planning stages. Like we
we,
already have it live online. And then the next one is going to be May 14th, and that one's going to be in the Sanford with the historic house that I was
right,
introduced to.
right.
Yeah, yeah. The Higgins house. And so that one's like early stages, like we've got a date set, like not much else. But so that'll be another smaller event, like 20, 25 people. But the Mother's Day one is basically like as big as uh it can be. I mean, basically she said like they've got like seating for like 96 people comfortably. I was like, okay, well, we'll see.
You need help.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, so and she's like gonna be helping. Like we've got people, yeah, yeah, that we can call on to help.
Okay.
So that's not a problem. And I'm like, oh, I have that many dishes.
I was
I've got
going to ask you. See, I'm shy on the serving plates, but I probably would have enough. I'm sitting here staring. I've got like seven
yeah,
of
yeah,
them sitting right in front of me right now.
right.
But
I think by now I think I do probably have 100 of those serving plates. Like
right.
it's
Yep.
but
It's what we do. It's what we do. Yeah.
yeah, it's what I do. Yeah, but yeah, so that is my tea business. You tell me your tea business, and then I also have tea travel stories to tell you because I met up with Molly in Charleston last weekend, and we did tea. So
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, so
On
tell
my
me your
bucket
tea
list
business.
too. Maybe that's a meeting place for you and me. I don't know.
That's
We'll see.
that's true. Yeah, yeah,
Something. Um, so well, first of all, these teas that you're talking about, these are fully catered
yes,
afternoon tea style teas.
yes,
Are they advertised on the Houses of Windsor webpage?
yes. So the tickets are only sold on Houses of Culture.
Okay,
So I
because
haven't been
I
mine.
have my family in Orlando. I would like to let
Yeah,
them know about it. It might be something that my sister and my nieces might be interested in.
absolutely.
My niece Alyssa, I think I got you to meet when she was walking through the hotel in our little
Yes.
hotel.
Yeah, yeah, the bride, right?
Alyssa announced she's now expecting her first baby.
Oh
So
my goodness.
yes,
Oh,
yeah. So which is
good.
funny because at the wedding I was like, "Is she drinking? Is she drinking?" I was because I've been looking. They've been married for almost 3 years, and I'm like, "Is she drinking?" And she was. She
Oh,
had
that's so
a
funny.
glass of wine. So I'm like, "Oh, not there yet." But what it was like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago they
Right.
called and said they're expecting. So
Oh my gosh.
very
Nice.
excited for them about that. Very excited for us. My parents' first great grandchild. I just I'm like, you're
Oh,
going to be a great grandmother. And my mom is just thrilled because they're both my parents' passed before. Well, I was 2 years old. So
oh, okay. Yeah.
and that was the last of my grandparents who had passed away. So
Right.
yeah, so they're very excited. We all are. So T news. Well, I've got this for you. Let me just
Yeah, show off your hat. Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to find a way that this isn't going to fall down. There isn't even a band in here, so I'm going to have to
It's
tape
like you have to
something
like
in
put
here.
foam or something in there. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my
So
God.
the suffrage museum, the suffragist museum that I have been teamed up with, so grateful for them because I am their premier tea lady. I mean, who doesn't want that?
I love it.
Well, you and me anyway.
Yeah.
So I did a private tea for one of their benefactors yesterday, and that was so much fun. It was the first time they actually, it was sort of a trial run where they did the tea in the museum. There's just enough space to get a couple of tables in there. They had two round tables. They had it all set up for me. I just came in and brought the cake stands and the tea, but the woman who was hosting brought in the food herself. I got to give my lecture on how tea is associated with political movements, most especially how it spawned the, I shouldn't say it spawned it, but it helped, it was a catalyst in the
Yeah.
suffragist movement. So I did that tea yesterday. I'm going back tomorrow night. We're doing a make your own tea sachet. So we have our own blends of tea, dried teas.
Yeah.
And I will
Yeah.
be there to facilitate. This also going to be a trial run.
Yeah.
But the whole, it's the Workhouse Arts Center, the whole campus is doing a fundraiser for their own individual businesses as well as the whole workout, the campus. And it's a was Alice in Wonderland theme. So
Mm.
what better thing for the museum
Yeah.
to do because they're associating themselves with my tea business to do
Right.
Alice in Wonderland. So they have hired somebody to be Alice in Wonderland. Somebody else is to
Oh,
be
that's great.
the Queen of Hearts, and I guess I'm going to be the Mad Hatter. I've
Mad
already
Hatter.
got a friend, and
That's
yes, I've got to
great.
figure out how to help people and say, yeah, you might not want to blend that with that one. You
Right.
don't
Right.
want
Right.
green with the black usually. There
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
so we'll see how that goes. I have a Mother's Day tea coming up with them the weekend before Mother's Day. I have another tea tasting with them coming up in April.
Wow.
And then I've just been asked to do a private tea at a local church
Oh,
that
nice.
a friend of mine wants to do for some graduating eighth graders.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so things are
Yeah.
they moved. They're good. I'm still not doing the food portion. I still offer scones.
Right.
Balancing that, there's just a lot other things going on in my life. I have two
Sure.
graduations coming up, and I'm
Yeah.
just have to say, because I got to share this with you, Amy.
Yeah.
My oldest son called 2 days ago, and he's graduating, and
Hmm.
he's being honored with an award for being the top Marine Corps graduate of his class. And
Wow.
yeah, so they
That's
are presenting
awesome.
him with a sword with it. He would eventually have to buy himself, but
Oh,
it's expensive.
yeah.
But they're
Yeah.
presenting him with this the day after graduation for
Oh,
in a
that's
small
amazing.
ceremony. So my buttons popping
Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
so sweet.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, and then Jackie graduates sixth grade, elementary school. She's been
Okay.
8 years.
Oh, is
Yes,
that the way your
World Down
schools?
Syndrome Day. Yay!
That's
What's
the
that?
way that they're. I would say that's the way they're split up. Because in my school, fifth grade was the end of elementary, and
Okay.
sixth, seventh, eighth is middle school, and then
Yes.
ninth and up is high school. But I know
Right.
everybody. Yeah,
It's all
they
different.
treat them all
Yeah.
different. Yeah,
And it was where I grew up too. And Stephen, when we lived in California, he had a fifth grade graduation, moved here, and then had a sixth grade graduation.
that's
So,
hilarious.
so yeah, but Jackie, who was held back in kindergarten because of her Down syndrome, she's been at the school for 8 years now.
Wow.
And she cannot wait to have her graduation. So
Oh,
we have a lot of other things coming up that are on my calendar. Um, so anyway, yeah, lots going on
that's
tea
exciting,
wise, which is great. I love that people are willing to pay me for something that I love to stand up and talk about and share with other people. I mean,
right?
it's just such a joy, isn't it? I mean,
Right, right. Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm excited because I'm like, now they're bringing tea parties back, and it's like, oh, things are like things are actually really going this.
they are. I'm so excited for you. You have
Thank you, and
so
you,
much
like
on
you,
the
yeah,
horizon. It seems like you've made the right connections this time. And
right,
I just, like I said,
and
I cannot wait to hear how these next things unfold for you. And
yeah.
yeah, it's going to be great.
So
You need to make it a big empire so that when I do move to Florida, you can take me
yes, oh, I
on and
will.
pay me.
Yeah, yeah, I will. That's the plan. Yeah, I will. So, but I have to tell you. So, okay, you mentioned the making your own tea. So when
Yes.
I went to visit the what's Jane from the English Cream Tea Company, and when I was in England last May, so her whole setup is because they do like the tea, like afternoon tea gift hampers, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
that they deliver, and so but they do have some times like they'll have little events and stuff in their space. But so their whole, I would call it like, I don't know, a workshop or whatever. It's like, like Santa's workshop.
Yeah.
So it's like, so they have all the stuff to make everything, but they have like a big wood, like I'm trying to think what it would call. It reminds me of like a card catalog like type thing, right? Like the library
Okay.
like card catalog with all the
Sure.
drawers.
Sure. Okay.
So it reminds me of that, but all the drawers are different teas, and
It
he
sounds like
does
an
it.
apothecary thing, like the old
Yeah, probably.
apothecary. Yes.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Yeah, and
Okay.
so um had me uh make my own cup of tea, and she was like, mix what you want, like and she said, and if it tastes bad, she's like, we'll dump it out and try again. But,
Fabulous.
yeah, but so I was like, that was the first time I'd heard that. So I was like, oh, that's so cool, you're doing that too. That's a great idea. Um, and and then so Molly and I've been like dying to tell you this, but I was like, I can't tell you before tea time because I want your live reaction.
Hold on. All right. I'm all
I know.
ears.
Yeah,
Go
right.
ahead.
Okay. So I'm okay. So I'm not going to mention this place by name, even though they were basically everything at this tea room that Molly and I went to in Charleston was amazing. Everything was awesome and really well done. So I would like to call them out, but I don't want to just in case they don't want the secretness. So we had like the tiered cake stand of all the stuff. So like
Mhm.
the tea was great. The tea lady was great. It was actually in almost like it looked like it would have been like an old small restaurant where it's like there's an actual bar here and
Okay.
then like all the tables. So they have like actual alcoholic drinks you can order. So we ordered champagne, but like there's like a guy who mixes, whatever cocktails. Um, but so they were really great, and the food they had really really good blueberry scones, which were
Yeah.
awesome, and the sandwiches, everything. But then we get up to this tier, so we're like we eat the scones, and then we get up to the next tier where there's like sweets and things, and we're like, and it's like has like it's got white something in it, and we're like, oh, what was that supposed to be? And so Molly like sticks her fork in it and like tastes it. She's like, it tastes like yogurt. I don't know what we're supposed to do with this. So when the tea lady came over, we asked her, and she goes, "Oh, that's clotted cream." And then we're like, "Oh, is it like?" And so I go, "Oh, do you make it here?" And she said, "Yeah." And then she goes,
I didn't hear that at all.
"Oh, sorry." She goes, "It's whipped cream and yogurt." She goes, "Don't tell anybody. That's how they make their clotted cream there. Is they mix whipped cream and like vanilla yogurt.
How was it?
It tastes like yogurt."
What I was afraid of.
Yeah, we didn't, and we'd already eaten the scones, so like we didn't even put it on the scones. But like,
I'm sorry, did you
I
say that was in a sandwich though?
no, it was in its own cup.
Oh, okay, okay, all right,
I'm
all
just
right.
saying it was on a different tier. Like it wasn't next to the scone, so we didn't know what it was until like yeah, it was on. It wasn't next to him. So but it was so funny. So like Molly and I, of course, like we weren't gonna say anything. But I was like, that's crazy. Like, because people who don't know anything, I guess that's fine. They won't know any better. But like anybody who's ever clotted cream is like, if you're gonna like create your own mixture that's like like a shortcut. I was like, at least do like butter and whipped topping or something. Like the yogurt throws the whole thing off. It tastes nothing like clotted cream.
But then that's what people think. If they're going for what they think is an English afternoon tea and they're calling this clotted cream, I'm sorry, that's sacrilege,
I know.
darling. I mean,
That's why it was like so. What's great is so I mentioned that the same boy still still part of things, and Molly and I would call him uh like at night. Basically, he was like getting off of a late shift of working, and he would call us. And by that point, Molly and I had had like our wine and whatever else. So
and you needed tea.
yes, yeah. So the night after of the afternoon tea, was probably our tipsiest that we got. And he calls, and we talk to him, and I go, like, and guess what? I was like, you won't know what this means and you won't care. But I go, their clotted cream is just whipped topping and yogurt. Like, I couldn't hold it in.
Oh,
So,
there are ways to make it. I've not tried the official way. I just used whipped cream one time, like whipping cream, and
right,
you whip it and you don't have to put a ton of sugar, like really, like you're not making whipped topping for a pie kind of thing.
right,
Like you
right,
barely sugar it,
right.
and it's close. It still doesn't have that thickened, well, the clotted texture. I'm good.
Yeah, right, right,
I know
right.
that
And
turns
that's
Americans off because we only use the word clot for one thing. And people don't want to associate that with their food. Um,
right.
yeah. So can I
But
ask you what tea or teas did you try, or did you only
yeah,
have?
yeah. So I had, they had, let's see, I think I ended up getting like a blueberry black tea. They did some,
Yum.
yeah, but and it was really good, but they did something really neat. So I took pictures, I haven't posted them yet. But
Oh,
they, have she like brought out ahead of our tea this little plate, and it had little, round dishes on it, like tiny little ramekin things.
okay.
And one had, uh, lavender, like just loose lavender. One had, okay, butterfly, is it butterfly pea flower or something? I forget. It's like they're really pretty blue. And Molly remembered, she was like, it's something with the name pea in it. And we were like, so then she said, yeah, it's like butter. I think it's a butterfly pea flower. So is that? Then she had her own vanilla infused sugar, and then honey in one. So what you could do is basically they would bring you your tea and like a little tea ball, but they would give you an extra one if you wanted to play with it and add like some lavender or cornflower or whatever to it and put
Interesting.
it in an extra infuser. And you could do it in your cup if you didn't want to do it to the whole pot, or you could do it in the whole pot. So we had fun playing with that. And then the butterfly peace flower thing was mainly, I think, just for
Oh,
color.
I do know what
Yeah,
you're talking about. I do know what you're talking about. Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
they're just
Yeah, they're
really pretty blue.
pink. They're bluish, right? Aren't they?
Yeah,
Blue?
they're pretty
Yes.
blue. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so I just thought that was a really neat idea because you could do that too with like, little rose hips or like different,
Yes.
different little things to mix in. So that was a neat idea. So yeah, a lot of it was me like taking note of things like, hey, I like that.
Yes. Yeah. Have you ever considered making your own very special Lady Amy or Houses of Windsor? I
Yeah.
think it ought to be called Lady Amy. Lady
And
Amy's tea blend, have you
yeah,
ever considered to doing something that, something really special that only you offer?
that's true. I guess I've thought of it in just the sense of like it's been a thought. I haven't actually played with any mixtures of teas, so you're right. I should do that.
Mhm.
That would be good. Yeah, I should mix a lot of the things that I like best, right? And see
Yes,
what
yes.
little concoction I come up with.
But it needs to
Um,
be something that would be something that you could offer, like this, I highly recommend my blend of whatever for whatever tea,
right,
plus you get another one.
right.
But I mean, you could brand that. I ask because the museum would really
Hmm.
like to brand a tea. And they've asked me if I have any recommendations for that. Could I come up with something? And so I think this is something you and I can work on together, you
Yeah,
for you, and
right,
it's how do I price this? Do I just say, okay, this is what you do and you pay me for my idea? Or
right.
do I continue to supply it to them? They have to buy it through me. I do the blending, whatever.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Come up with a particular label. There is a suffragette tea out there, kind of
Uh-huh.
cute. But, these are not suffragettes. These are suffragists. The suffragettes were the British, and we were the suffragists.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, really? That I didn't realize that.
well, okay, so they started off being suffragists. They wanted, I mean, men are suffragists. People who vote are suffrage. They wanted suffrage. They
Oh,
wanted to be able to vote. It's the strangest word for wanting to vote,
okay.
suffrage.
Right,
Um, so when the British women started, their strongest fight, they were known as suffragists, and the newspapers and the politicians and the men put them down, and they were calling, when you add et to anything, it's
right.
feminine
Sure.
and it's little.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right.
So they were being called the suffragettes,
It's
and
more like,
the British
yeah.
women were like, bring it on. We'll own it. That's fine. That's who we are. We
Okay.
are women, and we'll take that. But we're
Yeah.
not as small as you think we are. In America, they continued to find it demeaning, and they did
Okay.
not call themselves suffragettes. They called themselves suffragists because they
Okay.
wanted equal footing with the men.
Right, right.
It's
Well,
easy.
wow. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I got
That's
that wrong the
awesome.
first time they had me, and I kept calling them the suffragettes, the suffragettes. And
Oh,
I'm sure the curate of the museum was back there going, "Oh my God, I gotta change this."
that's
But
awesome.
anyway, so the flower, the suffragist symbolic flower is a sunflower.
Ah.
And
Oh, because we were talking, weren't we? We are talking about that, I think, on the phone. Yeah,
yes, yes, yes,
yeah, about
yes. The suffragist colors were yellow and purple. And you can buy dried sunflower leaves, that you can get them in salads in certain places,
sure.
they're apparently bitter. So I'm trying to find what would be a good base. I'm thinking black tea, but us,
Sure.
we like our
We're
black tea.
we're biased.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, if she's saying maybe we could do one black, one green. I'm like, okay, slow your roll. But if we,
Right,
something with a good strong base, but it has to have a flavor rather than just, unless I
right,
just do black Ceylon tea, throw in the sunflowers and maybe some lavender, but I have to taste that, and
right.
I have to buy a few things to do the sampling, and then I'm going to end up with a pound of sunflower seeds and go, this is terrible.
Right, right. And
So
the colors you said are purple and yellow.
in yellow.
Have you thought about doing something that is a purple color? Like,
The lavender, the cornflower, like you said, the pea,
yeah,
butterfly pea,
yeah,
whatever those are,
yeah,
whatever they,
right, yeah,
I know those are there too. I just don't know what they taste like in particular.
yeah. I'll say the butterfly one, I felt like had no taste. It just seemed like it was just straight up color.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
afraid of. Yeah. Well, actually, I shouldn't say afraid
Well,
of.
because then, yeah, like, because then you could have other things that are the flavor, but then,
Mhm.
right, add it for the flavor, but then you also get the color
Yes.
special.
So,
Yeah,
like I said, I have a couple of ideas. You and I can talk at some other point, but
yeah,
I can't. I thought, oh, it'd be pretty, put the rose petals, because you can buy rose
yeah.
petals, put in there too. And she said we can absolutely not have roses, because she said, have you ever heard the War of the Roses? And it has to do something with. And I meant to look it up, I haven't, but something like, no, cannot, roses were not symbolic of the suffragists. And
Oh, okay.
so I'm like,
I
oh,
knew the
okay,
War of
back
the
it up.
I knew the War of the Roses, but I thought that was like over in
Yes,
England and had nothing to do with.
yeah, they had their
But
own
somehow
meaning
it
to it or
ties.
something.
Okay,
Yes, yeah. So
okay,
I should look that up. I should know what that is.
yeah,
So yeah. Anyway, so I'll look into it. There are the bluish purplish cornflower, that you find in Earl Grey cream.
right. Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm thinking, could I do Earl Grey cream with the sunflowers? I keep reading that the sunflowers that have a bitter flavor, so I don't know how much that would infuse into that. What about a base of like an Earl Grey or a Lady Grey tea
Yeah,
and
yeah,
put those in maybe? So
right,
it's going to take a little bit of trial and error, but
right.
I would love to see a Lady Amy tea. I think you could come up with
Okay,
something really fabulous, feminine, frou-frou, something
yeah,
that goes in that color wheel. Stay away from the fish in the barnyard, and and you'll be good.
right. Or the earth flavors, aka dirt.
Exactly. I've got my book, because I thought I would take it tomorrow just to have on
Right. Oh yeah.
display, to show, if
Oh
you're
yeah, because
talking
you're
about
telling me,
color
yeah, I need to bring
flavor
my book.
palettes and stuff. Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
so we'll see.
it's
But
so interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
so I did before this call. I've watched or listened to both of the Pierce Morgan clips you sent me, which I have to say, excellent, great. Like, thank you for sending those to me because he did have some good points. There were some where it's like when he was going back and forth with the other, uh, I don't know, guest speakers, whatever, on there. It was kind of like, let her, like, he has, and she has a point, but, but anyway,
Yes. Well,
um,
so the big
yeah, so
thing.
if you want to recap them,
Well, I'm sorry, because I know I'm doing most of the time, but yeah, so basically, for those monikers out there and those who love to follow the royal family,
yeah,
is that Kate has been absent. She had abdominal surgery, planned, organized abdominal surgery, a couple of months ago. And
yeah, for
unfortunately, at the
January,
time that her
yeah,
absence began, they discovered that King Charles has cancer, some kind,
hmm
we don't know. And he's going through treatment. Don't know if it's radiation, don't know if it's chemo, don't know if it's a combination of both, whatever.
right,
God bless him, along with the
hmm
king. Um,
that's it.
and I say that flippantly, like an American. And
No, yeah, I always say, I'm like, God save the king.
so all these conspiracy theories about, Kate and Will are splitting up, and Kate's, and then there's a bunch of people out there, and there's all these news stories about why she hasn't been around. And then on Mum's Day, on the British Mother's Day, um,
Uh-huh.
she put out a picture of her with her kids, which was darling. And
Yes.
people found that parts of it had been photoshopped. And Amy and I have been going back and forth about what is the big deal. As a
Yes.
photographer, an amateur photographer, I Photoshop things all the time. I've gotten rid of these. When I go back after England, I'm going to be
Right. That's what people
photoshopping
would
all
do.
these out of my
Yeah.
pictures. What is the big deal? The other thing is, because they are short on royals now to cover
Yeah.
royal duties and charitable
Right.
events, uh, should Harry step back in and start helping the royal family? So I sent Amy these two, love him, hate him, don't have opinion about him. Piers Morgan, outspoken, but he is a monarchist. He loves the monarchy. He loves the royal family. But he's not a big fan of Harry and Meghan. And I should say he's not a fan at all. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
sent you those two clips, and you and I have had discussions about what is the big deal about the photoshopping. Why are they making such a big
Right.
deal about it? So I'm going to let you talk and say, what did Piers Morgan have to say about
Yeah.
why it's a big deal, at least to him?
Right. And I'll say my take on it too is like the use of the word like Photoshop or editing. I'm like, yeah, but like literally everyone who takes a picture on their phone, and posts it anywhere, or even just sends it off to someone, like text it, you're usually at least doing at the very minimal, like clicking the little auto correct of just the color on your
It's
iPhone,
just color
right?
and lighting. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just something, right? So it's not, yeah, that crazy. And so, yes, so Piers Morgan's issue with it was he said it comes down to trust. So the way that he explains it is because it was a picture that Kate chose, right? Like to put out there. And I guess she did send it to the palace, whatever. So I guess it was like an official release. So the whole thing is that if the palace is going to officially release, you know, doctored photos, then how can we trust anything that they tell us? And so it comes down to trust. And I'll say my response to that is sort of
I want
like,
to hear it. Yeah, what?
yeah, I know, like my response to that is like, I hear you, but like, you don't trust them anyway. Like, it doesn't matter. Like,
What's it
nobody
expect?
trusts them anyway. Like, so,
Yeah.
I was like, um, the, again, the guy that they're dating, so, so he has a sister in DC, and he now knows me to be the royal expert. So she'll text him things to ask me, and which I love.
I was going to
But
say, and you hate that, right?
yeah, no, I love it. But
One of the things
he
that endears you to
also,
him. Cheers.
yeah, yeah. But he also likes to get me very riled up. So yeah, for fun. So like he'll be like, he'll be like, the Queen put out a hit on Princess Diana, and I'll just like, fight back. But then I'll be like, tell me why do you believe that? Why do you think that? Do you know uh, the so-called facts, like the
Right.
supporting, yeah, stuff behind the conspiracy? He's like, no, I don't know any of it. I said, I go, I know it. So he likes to have no idea, but he just knows what will get me ending,
You all riled up.
and it is very funny. But anyway, so yeah, so it's stuff like that where I'm like, they already don't trust him, and the whole idea, like we talked about, that Kate felt like she even had to issue an apology.
Yeah.
It's a picture, like, come on, guys. I mean,
She didn't Photoshop herself with some dignitary. She didn't Photoshop herself doing something
it's a
grandiose that wasn't true. She didn't Photoshop herself, in the place of the queen or anything like.
right, right,
She fixed something on her daughter's sleeve, and so
and
her hand was blurry. Maybe
yeah,
she fixed. Who to me,
it's,
I understand Morgan's point about the trust thing. Okay, yeah, I get that, but come on, this
but
was
it's all,
cosmetic. It was
yeah, yeah,
cosmetic.
yeah. So I think, yeah, so that was just ridiculous, and I think, the whole point was that she wasn't necessarily releasing that photo as proof that I'm alive and well. It was
Although I
Mother's
think
Day.
it was. You don't think so? You
Well, it
don't think
was.
some of that was?
Yeah,
Mm,
but it was also Mother's Day, so had she not released anything on
true.
English Mother's Day,
True.
then everyone would have been like, well, she's dead for sure.
Right.
They've hidden the body. So they had to release something. And so maybe she didn't feel her best or whatever. And they like doctored it up a little bit. Of course, I'm a royalist, so I'm biased. But I also am like, leave her alone. Like, all of this has been so weird. I
Yeah.
mentioned to you on the phone where this has all had an air of like Scientology, like, where's Mrs. Kavanaugh? Like, I forget
Yes,
the,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
It's
yes.
like she's missing, the head guy's wife, like she's been missing for years and no one's talking about it. It's like Kate, they issued a statement in January to say she's going in for this surgery, scheduled surgery. We've talked about how a scheduled surgery only means, or planned surgery only means that you're not in an emergency surgery. You didn't get rushed to the hospital and get sent into surgery.
Right,
You can have a
right.
planned surgery like a week out or 2 weeks out, and then that changes your whole spring schedule. And
Yeah,
also, I'm sorry, is it Easter yet? Because we weren't supposed to see her or to hear from her until Easter. And
right.
everyone like lost their, you know, ship.
Marbles. Yep, yep.
Yeah, in like by mid-February or whatever, they like can everyone just started coming out with ridiculous things. And like, I mean, I heard from a lot of friends, and I want all my friends to know, whoever texts me about royal stuff, forever do it. I love it. But like, they'll text people that I don't always hear from, will text me like, okay, so what's happening with Kate Middleton? Because I know you know. I'll be like,
Yes, she called me today.
yeah, I know. It's like, well, first of all, nothing's happening with Kate. Everyone's making something out of nothing. But it's like they're sending me the different things that they're seeing online or that they're hearing, and like even Molly, she had like a coworker that was asking her, because Molly is an Anglophile, but she's not necessarily like up to date on royal stuff. So then Molly was asking me, so she could tell her friend, and it was like, oh gosh, I think there's, let's see, I can't remember if you and I discussed this one, but there was the one theory that there was like a domestic dispute between William and Kate, and they were hiding her away. And one of them was like saying that because William might have to be king sooner than planned, and that Kate was upset about it. We're like, that seems ridiculous.
That's so outlandish.
She's so, yeah,
I think she's ready for the role. I think they'd be
yeah,
brilliant, but yeah, to move it up, I don't think they're quite ready because they're still raising their children. So yes, it might be a surprise, but I don't think she
but
stepped into this knowing this was going to
and
happen.
why would she? Yeah, exactly. That's like, it would be ridiculous. Like, just seems so stupid. And then other ones are saying that mistress, but I forget her name, which I don't care. But like, the mistress they keep bringing up every few months or whatever. Well, now she's pregnant, and so for whatever, in the conspiracy theorist side, and so which honestly I haven't even looked. I don't know if anybody's seen pictures of the real person pregnant. Like maybe she's just hiding away because she doesn't like all this. It's so I guess, and so that was another reason why maybe Kate's hiding because she's upset, or again, they had a domestic dispute, and like, which basically always means that they're claiming that William has physically abused her. That's
Yes,
why she
yes,
had,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
it's
yes,
just
ridiculous.
absolutely insane.
Well, and part of this was that William's godfather, who
Oh,
was,
right.
you know, a figure, I cannot remember who's it.
Yeah, I forget who he was, but
Great,
yeah, but he backed out
yeah, he backed
like
out at the last
an
minute. He
hour
said he wasn't going
before.
to go to the funeral. And I'm thinking, yeah, he probably, maybe he should have gone, but at the same time, his wife is home, not, still recovering,
Yeah,
although we've seen pictures of her out now, with
sure.
her mom, and there was a picture of her and Will out, a few days ago that, they
Right.
had some outing, but, she may be feeling cooped up too.
I would say, yeah, that doesn't mean that she's back to 100%, right?
No, it doesn't. And if he's taking on all these duties and all of a sudden, here's one more event, maybe he wasn't feeling well. I
Right,
mean,
right.
cut some slack. He's human.
I
Um,
know.
so too bad that he didn't miss that. But I'd like to, some of the fun conspiracy theories that you and I came up with was,
Yeah, I do like some of yours that, yeah,
yeah. Well, so Kate
I've
and
told some. Yeah, I've
we
told some
haven't
people
seen
some of
Kate and
yours.
Charles in a while to get, so I'm like, well, Kate ran off with Charles. The
So,
two of them have gone somewhere. I theorized that Kate had a boob job and she just wanted enough time to pass so that people couldn't remember how flat she was originally.
right.
I saw this
Had
picture
one
of her.
where you had one theory that you said where she and Camilla got in a fight and that uh, and that she had to
Camilla
recover
gave her a
the
black
black
eye.
eye.
That would be me, yes.
Yeah, and I
Cheers.
think I saw someone. Yeah, I think I saw someone else. I can't remember, well, now I don't remember now if it was you or like a meme or something I saw, but they said that she had gotten her bangs cut and she was waiting for them to grow out.
I saw some, now talk about photoshopping a picture, and I wish I could
Yeah,
find it, and I should have sent it to you.
yeah.
I saw a picture of Kate, and somebody had photoshopped her hair with it was like side part short, really
Oh
slender
yeah.
bob and bangs. I mean, it was cute. If she were 10 years older, it would be
Right,
fine.
right.
But I was like, oh, so here's another theory that Kate got a really bad haircut and she's just
Yes,
waiting
yeah.
for it to grow out.
It's so funny. So yeah, so those ones are fun, but yeah, I'm like the all the rest is just crazy. And yeah, so with William trying to, do we'll say everything,
Everything.
it's like, and they do still have 3 kids. And yes, they have professionals that are there to help, but they don't let like nannies full time raise their kids.
No.
So if Kate's not 100%, plus even if Kate is 100%, like they still want to see dad, right? Like they still want to see him. So, and he wants to see them. So yeah, maybe he's just like feeling worn out. And so he
I
was
can
like, I
imagine.
just can't even
Seriously.
bring myself to do this thing.
Yes.
Um, and then Pierce Morgan's other thing was all about Harry, which I have to say, I really liked the opening of one of the things he said about Harry. He's like, where the king has cancer, Kate is, dealing with whatever illness and her surgery and recovery. He goes, and yet he still somehow finds a way to make it about him.
Yes, yes. Somehow the royal crisis still has to be about Harry. Think
And
that's really
even though,
interesting.
I'm like a sympathizer or whatever we'll say with Harry and Meghan, I'm very much, I try to stay on both sides
You're very good at it. That's why
of the
I felt
fight.
pretty
Yeah,
safe in sending it to you. Because
yeah.
Piers
But
Morgan
even
is
that,
a
I was,
controversial figure. Yeah,
yeah, I was like, but even that when he said that, I was like, okay, that's really funny.
it's funny. It is funny. So the interview with Piers Morgan, and I hate to say this, I'm going to be mindful of the time. I've got a
Okay,
doctor's appointment later, but
yeah, yeah,
the interview, not interview, Piers Morgan's show called
yeah,
Uncensored was talking about how and why it really is impossible at this point, from at least his standpoint of view, that Harry cannot re-enter. Not only can he not re-enter the royal family fold, that he should be stripped of his royal titles.
yeah,
And a couple of those reasons are, and when he said them, I was like, you know what?
yeah,
I'm fairly conservative and a traditionalist too. So I really kind of agreed with him. I was like, wow, that's an excellent point. He says, how are you supposed to have somebody who's gone out there, blown the cover, talked about his Todger, for those who
yeah,
don't understand what that
sure,
is, it's his male member, talked about that, taught and, completely blown open how he lost his virginity. How are
Right,
you
right,
supposed to put this person as a royal figurehead over the country and be this person that you're supposed to revere and look up to,
right.
dignity, um, any of that, or to
Right,
trust him to keep his mouth shut about things when he has gone out there and blown all of this so
right.
far as throwing his family under the bus about,
Yeah,
they're racist and this
yeah.
and that, whatever.
And like
Is
William,
he
yeah,
supposed to
William's
come
like
back?
physical, yeah, the physical fight that they had,
The fight that
the
they had,
how
yes.
Charles said, Charles and William apparently were saying horrible things, and like the Queen
Yes.
just sat by and
Damaged,
listened.
exactly,
Like,
damaged the image of the sitting king and the king to be. How
right,
is, and let's go back the word trust again. Here we go with, how do you
yeah,
trust if we can't, gosh, if we're going to get this upset about Kate photoshopping something, the
yeah,
future Kate, how are you supposed to put is he still fifth, sixth in line, whatever he is? How are you supposed to
yeah,
put
yeah,
the son of the king back in action here
right,
when you can't trust him to keep his mouth shut about
right,
stuff?
right.
I'm not saying I disagree with his wanting to have security for his family. I'm still on board with
Sure.
that, but I really think Harry, I, I agree. I don't think he belongs back. So
I,
leave it to
yeah,
you. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
yeah, so I agree. So I was also surprised, like when Pierce was like recapping for people, like what Harry and Meghan did, and he mentioned like 4 years ago. I was like, oh my god, it's been 4 years.
Yeah,
Like,
really, I can't believe it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
so I was like, so with Harry, I really, and with Pierce's point, so I don't necessarily, I'll say, care as much about his own personal, I don't know, like disclosures, right? Like the Todger story, whatever,
Right.
and like drugs and this and that,
Oh gosh,
whatever.
yeah, the drugs. My God,
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
What
yes.
I care about is, or what I thought made sense was even to the point of like his short visit with his dad and how recently and how,
Yes.
apparently the suits didn't want him to be around him very long, and they pointed out, they're like, well, you've got someone who is living off of basically selling all of these secrets. Here you've got a king who's in poor health. Like, how long are you going to let him hang around? Because you're pretty nervous about what he's going to go off and tell. So, like,
Yes.
and that's another reason why I feel like you can't rejoin the royal family, at least not anytime soon. I mean, it's got to be like years and years from now. Like, there's got to be a lot of
A lot.
uh, repairing. But I
Yes.
thought it was funny. They kept talking about uh, offering a fig leaf, and like, right, we always say like an olive branch, but
Olive
they,
branch.
yeah,
A
but
fig leaf is
they were
what
calling it a,
probably.
I know, but they all of them were saying it on the show. So like, I guess that's what an olive branch is.
Okay.
Yeah, so fig leaf. And so I think with Harry, and I do like that, they kept bringing up that the Queen said, like, you can't be half in and half out. Like, you have to be all in or all out. And
Absolutely.
they did bring up the point. They said there's a difference between like the familial, like, relationships being repaired, and your royal duty, like in the family, being reestablished. So like,
Right.
yes, we want you as a family to like be good with each other. Again, that's still like the trust there is like still
Yes.
a problem because that's all of the personal stuff that he shared. But
Right.
he can't just like live in California and like, swoop in to do whatever
Yeah.
royal duties he thinks is helpful. And I think with, yeah, and like with Megan, they were talking about how, Piers Morgan's speculation is that they lost their Spotify deal, and that maybe like Netflix is on the brink,
Mhm.
and some top executive called them like grifters because it's like they promise all this stuff and then they don't have good content or any content. And so, and I do agree. He was talking about how they have their website now, which is it just Sussex.com or SussexRoyals.com? I forget what it
Mhm.
is.
Mhm.
But it's off the Sussex title. And it's like, guys, like if you don't want to be in, and I've always been very much right about like he's a like whatever he is a prince. Like
Yes,
you can't really get rid of that. Like that's
yes,
what he is.
yes.
But to but then I was thinking on my own, and I haven't Googled it. I'm like, so what is it that their isn't their real last name is Windsor, right? So
Mhm.
shouldn't he and she just be Windsor, just now Harry Windsor and Meghan Windsor instead of like Megan Sussex and Harry
Sussex,
Sussex?
yes.
Like
Well, it's,
I'll have to Google it
yeah,
because I'm like,
talk to
yeah,
Trevor today.
yeah.
Trevor knows.
Oh, I'm not having tea time today. I canceled it for all of March. We're getting back in,
Okay,
except for the
gotcha.
first week because I've been like gone every week.
Well, maybe you want to post those two Piers Morgan things for, yeah, I don't know if you
Oh,
want to,
you're right. Yeah,
so
yeah,
people
yeah,
can
yeah.
hear what we're talking about and they
That's
can put in their
true.
2 cents or something, but, uh, yeah, I think it's when you're given that title, that sort of is your last name. Just kind of like they were, it was William and Catherine Cambridge. They are
Right.
now William and Catherine Wales.
That's true. Yeah, I would say the Google just said no. Harry technically doesn't have a last name, so his
So,
name is Henry Charles Albert Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex.
yep. But if you strip them of their titles, then yes, I would think it would go, at least he would go back to Windsor,
Right.
I would think, and
Right.
she would probably just keep her professional name. I mean, people still call her Meghan Markle. She's still Meghan Markle.
Sure. Right. Right.
Um, I did have a conversation with somebody. I went to lunch with a friend of mine from college a couple days ago, and she's like, Megan's just a gold digger. She's going to use Terry for what he's, worth to her. And I had to bite my tongue because I don't believe that. I believe there's real affection in that
Right.
relationship. I do, and I would not
I do.
ever
Yeah.
to put that down, or nor would I want to wish any divorce on, or
Right.
flash across tabloids and things like that. I would
Right.
not want that. I don't believe Megan ever wants to go back to England. That's so sad. It's just so sad.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah,
I mean,
I don't
yeah.
know. But I do, like you said, there needs to be a lot of healing. I wish there could be healing in the family,
Hmm.
but they almost seem like they're intertwined. Are they not? Are they not almost one and the same? If you're
They
gonna,
are. Yeah. It's like
oh,
given like the trust. Yeah. It was like it's hard. So basically, yeah. So it's like it is intertwined. The only thing that would be different is I guess just take his title away from him. So then, like now you're only trying to repair that you're hanging out with the Royals. Like you're not
yes,
one of
yeah,
them. Like you're hanging out with them. But yeah, Piers Morgan was saying how, especially since Kate's going through whatever she's going through, and that William's very protective of her, and which makes sense because Harry's very protective of Meghan, right? So it's
that's
like
what
that's
happened to their mother.
fair,
Absolutely.
and they drug Kate through the mud too, or he did in his book, and so and William, and so it's like you know they were speculating kind of like even if Charles wanted to like try to reconnect a little bit more, like William's probably right there, like, no, like, he's the one that's like really holding strong to this. And I think it does make sense because just again, like if it was any other family, and like and literally he wrote like a tell all book, you're probably not gonna be in good with your family for a while. Like it might
Right?
be another 10 years or so. So like I think yeah, so that's gonna be tough. But I do think it so so according whatever, apparently they don't have a real last name. I will say I'd have to look into this further because I don't understand why the queen got to have the last name of Windsor and now nobody else has a last name. um but that doesn't make sense. But it doesn't make sense to me at
Yeah.
first. So yeah, so but I'm like, if they could just be like, fine, whatever, change your name. You're not the Sussexes anymore. Because
Right.
that still, even if you claim like, fine, we lost our titles, but like that's just gonna be our last name. Like you kind of are always playing off of that. And I get, and Windsor will still be a royal name, but it's
Yes.
like sort of like at least defines that like you're different from what you were
Yes.
when you
Right.
were members of the royal family.
Yes. Yeah, it was one of the Reagan daughters from Ronald and Nancy Reagan. One of the Reagan daughters wrote a tell-all book and
Mm.
regrets it. She said,
Oh,
I
really?
did the same to my family, and she said if I could have told Harry not to do that, I would have told him
Oh,
it's destructive. And so I wonder now, so St. Patty's Day just came and
yeah.
went. And
Hmm.
typically, I know that the Waleses have gone in the past, or they were the Cambridges have gone in the past. And so there's, as soon as I pull up my,
Thumbs up.
my
It
Google,
happened. Sorry, it happened again. You just got a thumbs
yeah,
up
I
on your
just got a
screen
thumbs up.
when
Hey,
your hand.
hello there,
Yeah, when
hello.
your hand was going like this. I
Yeah.
another mystery.
Um, Princess, so Princess Kate paid the tab for soldiers to enjoy 700 pints of Guinness after being forced to miss out on St. Patrick's Day. So she at least put that out there.
Oh,
Um,
that's awesome.
is a nice thing. Yep, yep, yep. Um, God, the woman's even pretty when she's sipping Guinness. I mean, that's just so
Oh my
unfair.
gosh, of course.
Days after Kate Middleton photo blunder, Britain's royal family searches for new communications assistant. It pays just 33,000 a year, but you'll get free lunch.
What?
I don't know. I'll do it.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
For her new job.
That's, well,
Yeah.
that's what was it you that was saying like, you know, what Kim Kardashian or whatever pays somebody like $300,000 a year, and like all they do is just like edit the photos before they go out.
That's exactly
Um,
right.
and I'm like, and I commented like they don't even look real in the first place, like the
Precisely.
human. So I'm
And,
like,
and, I, and I'd like to
why
think that
are
they're
we?
above the Kardashians, you know?
Yeah, I'm like they are. Yeah, so I'm like, why can you not at least touch up what you look like for a photo that is going out across the world? Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. So,
Well,
and the fact that Pierce Morgan acted like, well, she gave it to the royal family, or the royal, whatever, the palace, and the palace put it out officially, and then media outlets rejected it because it had been tampered with or whatever, or like edited. It was like, are you kidding me? What does the media outlets do with all the other pictures from everybody else that
everybody
are
else. Exactly. It's been done for I mean, it's been done for years, even before there was Photoshop. There were
right,
ways to
right?
edit photos. So I maybe I'm just speaking as an American. I'm looking up royal news today to see if there's
Yeah, anything, yeah,
Hollywood
anything
celebs
pressing.
Meghan Markle and Prince. So they're Hollywood celebs now. Hollywood celebrities
Okay,
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry issued brutal one-trick pony warning. Have been warned that Americans often soon get tired of celebrities, with an expert wondering what they plan to do next. And of course, that leads to that Meghan is. She used to have, before they were married, she used to have her blog called The Tig. Don't look at the name. But she's now issued a new, it's coming out. I'm actually following it on Instagram because I'm
yeah,
curious what it is, but it's called the American Riviera Orchard. And I'm like, what
okay.
is
I have to
that?
look at.
So I
Yeah, I was
didn't
like,
realize, yeah. So somebody told me that the American Riviera is that Hollywood area, something, where is it, in Montecito
oh
and
yeah, Montecito's where
something
they
like that.
live.
It's
Yeah,
called the American Riviera Orchard, and that she's apparently going to be endorsing or promoting certain products,
right.
um, natural, whatever. So, yeah, that's one. Let's see.
Well, I think. Oh, they also mentioned how Harry was, asked if he would ever consider becoming an American citizen, and
Yes.
he was kind of like, ah. Well, I feel like first he kind of laughed it off, like what a ridiculous idea, and then it was kind of like, I mean, sort of like maybe or possibly or whatever, and they're like, well, what would it take? He kind of acted like just like I don't know, like it's not in his
Yeah. Didn't
like
he say, yeah, I've thought about it, but I'm sure he thought about it.
yeah, right, yeah. It's like so, and Piers Morgan pointed out, he's like, if he becomes American citizen, like then he like fully loses all of his royal, whatever.
Right.
You're not
Oh,
even,
Kate.
yeah. So
Yeah. Kate spotted, I'm sorry, Kate spotted again. Princess Kate spotted in Windsor again as locals saw her with George, Charlotte, and Louis. No picture to go. But she's out and about, and that's what they said, that by Easter she was supposed to be,
right,
getting up and
that's
around. Now
so.
I will say I am gonna be there. I'll give that priority. I'm gonna be there over Easter.
Oh,
And
right, yeah, yeah.
I'm supposed to go to Windsor Castle the day after Easter, but
That's
I
awesome.
don't think I'll see
Maybe
her.
you'll see. Yeah, I think you're gonna see her. Yeah.
Don't think I'll
Oh
see
my
her.
God. Be like, Kate, I was so worried. Your hair looks great. It's really
You
grown
didn't run
out.
off with your father-in-law, and your boobs
I
look
know.
the same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so
she'll
funny,
like
but I
me
love how it's
instantly.
like another like Kate spotting. It's so silly. It's like I mean, again, it's just like I love that the palace, right, when they like released that statement, basically like, hey, we told you what the plan was gonna be. We're sticking to the plan. Like nothing's changed. So it's kind of like all you crazy people out there who are just coming up with stuff.
Right,
Like,
right.
there's really no reason for you to because we haven't deviated from anything. Like there's nothing weird happening. We told you
Exactly.
exactly what it was.
Exactly.
Um,
Well, is it that if it does beg the question that if the royals are not out there promoting positivity all the time for
right,
themselves, for the country,
sure.
is this the evil, if you want to call it that, waiting in the
Yeah,
wings
yeah,
constantly to fill in the blanks? Does it
that's true.
have to be so negative and so
Right.
off-putting and insulting? Does it have to be
Yeah, yeah,
press that has to be ready to just jump in
right,
because you can't overpower it with the positive stories? And
right.
that's
Well,
pretty bad.
and I think it's just so much of like you know, the conspiracy theory type of people who it's not like they just believe in one, like they believe in all of them. So it's
Mhm.
not like the way I feel like it used to be because I've listened to like different podcasts on this. Like not the way it used to be, where just like maybe you know believe that the JFK assassination was a conspiracy, but that doesn't mean that you think everything is now, right?
Right.
But now it's like if you believe one, you have to believe all. So it's like, but psych, the psychology behind it in general is that the world is too chaotic and random and doesn't make sense. But but you can make it make sense if you have all these like theories, right? These like underlying theories that are based in nothing, right? But it's like so like so even it like reaches out to like the royal family, right? They're like, ooh, well, someone's at least like someone's missing. Maybe this points to this, and blah blah blah, right? Like, you can't trust anybody, and so again, like if they address it, right? It's like it doesn't.
Right.
They don't care. They're just gonna be like, well, someone's holding a gun to her back and making her say that, like
Yeah.
you know,
But I
or
think you have your
now the pictures aren't real.
yeah, I think you have your tabloid population that is looking for, that and it sells, so that's why
Right,
those types of newspapers are because there are people out there that want to read the salacious and the sinister.
right, right.
Um, yeah.
And it
So
does have like you said, the negative stuff. It does have a further reach, right? I said there are people that I haven't talked to in a while who don't know anything about the Royals, but they caught this. They heard about
really,
Kate
yeah,
Middleton missing. They weren't sure what was going on, but they knew it was enough that they felt like reaching out to
yes,
me to be like, what's
right?
going on? So it's not like my normal Royals people who are talking to me about it, right? It
Right.
had, yeah, a
Those
far
are the
reach.
people like
So,
all is well with the world. Yes, I know there are people over here called the Windsors, and there's this. Oh, wait a second. Wait, what? You
yeah,
know.
yeah. It's like, wait a second. There's like some really interesting scandal happening over
Yes,
here.
yes, exactly, exactly. That's funny. Well, I hate to cut
Yeah,
off. I've got to get to Dr.
no
Ponder.
worries.
So, good talk.
Yes, excellent. Yeah, great, great. And yeah, when I remember, I'll post those Piers Morgan things into the group. I
Absolutely.
make no promises as to when that will be.
With the disclosure that the Houses of Windsor does not necessarily endorse or agree with the
Right.
opinions expressed in this program, but points to ponder. What do you
That's right.
think? Yes, absolutely. Save yourself. Save yourself.
I love it.
Anyway,
That's great.
well, all right. So
Okay,
I won't be speaking to you until next time. There is a delicious tea waiting for you when you get home. I can't
thank
wait.
you.
We'll save it for the next time we meet, but
Okay.
when I do get back from London and after you've had at least that first tea, your next Saturday,
Yeah.
wishing you the best
Yeah.
of luck.
hmm
Gonna
Yeah. So we'll look to April. Yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
excellent. And yeah, so let's talk again. I'm anxious for you to try that tea. It really is good. I think it might be something
Yeah.
that becomes a permanent part of my pantry.
Oh
It's
wow,
it's
okay,
that
awesome.
good.
I'm
Yeah, it's
excited.
really delicious. So, all right. Well,
Excellent. Okay. Well, everyone, this is Tea Across the Miles. Tea Lady
okay.
Nancy with Cup and Crown and Tea Lady Amy with House of Windsor.
All right.
And we'll, I guess, catch you next time.
Absolutely. Have a great week. Happy Easter to those
Thank
who
you. You
celebrate.
too.
All
All
right.
right.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Happy travels.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.